First off, you want to get yourself some chuck roasts. Both of these together is about 5 pounds. You want to get your skillet cooking to between medium and high. This is hot. Taking a little bit of oil, we're going to toss it in. That is probably way too much. You only need a teaspoon or two, but it's good enough. Get this stirred around. And the first thing you want to do is you want to sear your meat. So after this gets hot, you can feel it when it's hot. You want to toss these in for about 2 to 3 minutes per side. You want to get a nice brown crust. That's the sound you want to hear. We're not cooking these roasts the whole way through. What we're doing is we're simply getting this nice brown crust. Also make sure to do the edges. Put that on for another 3 minutes. There we go. At the same time those roasts are cooking, you want to grab yourself an onion and you want to cut some nice thick slices. Make sure you're also getting the edges. You want the whole thing seared. What this does is it makes sure that the moisture stays inside of your roasts. Entire way around, you want to get that nice sear going. And my second 2-pounder goes on. Also, for a pro tip before you sear these, pat them dry. These need to be nice dry steaks going in. That makes the crust a little bit nicer. Also, while you're doing the onions, you're also going to want to grab some carrots. I'm going to be using more than this. They just don't all fit on here at the same time. My family likes carrots, so that's what we're going to do. Cut off the ends. Any gross bits, you can peel it if you want, but you're going to want to big, chunky pieces. Cut it off. Piece I don't like. Carve that out of there. Gone. Cut that end off. Don't want it. Knife down. Straight down. Rocking motion. Cut that one more time. There we go. These I want them sliced in half, but you want these pretty uniformly chunked. Just flip my other slab of meat over. Look at that perfect crust. As you get done with these, go ahead and just take them, toss them right into the bottom of your pot. This one's a little big. Chop that one up one more time. But you're going to want to take as much carrots as you want, chuck them in here on the bottom. I want these and the onions to be a separator between the bottom of my crock pot and my meat. I also decided I'm going to be cutting up some potatoes and celery to add to this base as well. How much of any of this do you use? Well, it depends on you. What do you want? My family loves carrots. I'm going to be adding more carrots in this, onions for flavor, celery for flavor, lots of potatoes to give this mix a little bit more oomph, some more filling. Just do whatever you got. Grab yourself a potato. Baby Yukons work best, the little tiny ones. You can just quarter those up. I just got some regular baking potatoes, so whatever you got on hand works great. See any bad spots? Chop them off. If you want to peel it. But I will say the vitamins and nutrients of a potato are in the skin, so I'm leaving these on here. I'm just cutting off the sections that don't look the greatest. Take these. Some of these eyes here could use for a little bit of gone. So, but just take them, slice it in half, put them both down. Slice I don't like. Yep, continues on that side. But anyway, put them both down, slice in the middle, turn it to the side, line them up, slice, slice, slice. Nothing in this meal has to be perfect. You just take these, toss them in. And that has not a nice section, toss that out. But once again, I'm keeping everything nice, big, and chunky for this soup. Toss those in there. Don't like that either. What is that? Same thing goes for the celery. Cut off the sections you don't like. Usually this whole white section I get rid of here. I'm going to cut these in half, I think. Watch where your fingers are. Line this up. You have two options with the celery. You can either leave it big and chunky, so in case you have picky eaters that want to pull these out, or if you slice them thin and small, they'll melt away to nothing, so your picky eaters won't know that they're in there. I think that's what I might end up doing. I'm going to make these small, well, nah, I'll just keep these big for flavor. If people don't like them, they can pick them out. I'm going to make them smaller than this, though. Let's see. Something like that looks good. A little bit about half of what I had before. None of this has to be perfect. The reason I'm cutting sloppily like this is just to show it doesn't need all that fancy skill work. But you just take as much celery, carrots, onions, that type of thing, all your veggies, toss them right into the pan, right into your crock pot, give them a mix, and I'm putting the onions on top whenever I'm done with all this other stuff. Let me just go ahead and finish these up nicely, and I'll catch you back up in a minute. Throw this stuff in here, we'll see how it looks whenever I'm done. All right, now that we have our nice veggie base here, I'm gonna go ahead and layer it with our onions that we had before. And this is going to be where we're sitting our meat right on top of. The reason I cut the onions all thick like this is so I'm serving a lot of people. There's a lot of people in my family. And one of the things is, well, some of the kids and certain other people are on the picky side of things, and they don't want to eat all the onions. So, if they're big chunks like that, they could see them and just pull them right out, but it will still soak in and get all the flavor. Now, I have my meat in here, and this is getting close to the top of my crock pot. This is what we like. Everything's full. And to this, now we want to add some liquid. So, I got some beef broth here. You can make your own with bouillon cubes and all that goofy stuff. But, I got some beef broth ready to go. So, I'm going to guesstimate about 2 cups worth. Let's see here. That's 1 cup. Pouring it right over everything. Two cups. All right, let's set that off to the side and see if that's enough. I am grabbing some tomato paste. Say about 2 tablespoons worth of that. Just plop that down on the sides, maybe a little bit more. I'm just going to use the whole can. How about that? Who's going to judge? Me. But 2 tablespoons if you want your official recipe that I'm using here. Get that down in there. Okay, tomato paste in. Now, you want a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. Wash your sister sauce. Maybe if I'm man enough to open this bottle, there we go. Throw in some wash your sister sauce. Tablespoon worth. Pour that in there. Is that a tablespoon? Maybe that's way too much. We'll find out. Also at this step, if you wanted to, you could cut up some onions and different things, put it in the pan that you seared the meat in, and then you could deglaze it with a little red wine and put it in here. I personally don't like red wine on this. I'm washing that sauce off with some more beef broth here. But I personally don't like the wine cooking that with this, so I'm not going to. because I think it adds a little bit of a vinegary flavor. But if you want to be that fancy, grab yourself some red wine, deglaze your pot, and pour that in. You might only need, you know, a splash or two. And with this, we're going to build it up. I could flip the meat up here, and you see how the water's only coming up to a little bit, or the broth? I want my liquid to be coming up. I don't want it to cover my meat, but I do want it to come about halfway up. So I'm going to add some more beef broth and fiddle around with the liquids. Probably just some more beef broth here, just as my stock. And pouring some more liquid in. Good thing I added that can and some added all that extra, the can of tomato sauce, tomato paste, and a little bit extra sauce there with the Worcestershire sauce. There we go. See, my veggies are covered. That's what I want. I don't want it covering my meat, but I want it touching my meat. That's going to steam up, and that's going to slow cook this meat. Now for some seasonings. 1 or 2 bay leaves. Toss them in. A little bit of thyme. A little bit of rosemary. Thyme and rosemary will get your classic steak flavors. Anything else you want to add? Now's the time to do so. Let's add some paprika. This one's smoked. Doesn't really make a difference here. Toss that on till it feels good and your ancestors yell at you. A little bit of pepper. Lots of salt. Salt is good for you. Eat it. Now it's time for some garlic. I'm using minced garlic in here. Toss a little bit over here. Toss a little bit over here. The best thing you could do is crush up whole cloves. Make those nice. However, if you don't have whole cloves or onions, you could cheat with onion powder and garlic powder, maybe some garlic salt. But what I have on hand, minced garlic in a jar, so that's what I'm using. Now what I'm doing is I'm nestling some more carrots out around the outside of this. Now I want my carrots to be in the liquid as much as possible around the outside of my meat here. But like I said before, my family likes carrots, so I'm adding extra. Now it's time to put that lid on and leave it on. Preferably, you're going to want to cook this on low for 8 to 9 hours. If dinner is shorter than that, it is okay to cheat and throw it on high for an hour or two, and then low the rest of the time. What that'll do is that'll slow cook your meat and make it fall apart tender by the time you're done. This is super easy to do, super simple. Just put it on the pot and leave it cook all day. A key tip though is to leave this lid on. You don't want any of the heat and the steam to escape. Leave it on, don't stir it, leave it alone. Let it cook. Now, I'm not a cooking channel. Most of the stuff I do is all outdoor, hiking, camping, knives, that sort of thing related, in the garden, whatever. But it's a firm belief of mine that everybody should be able to cook. And this is something that's hearty, fills you up, delicious, easy to do, and you could do it too. Like and follow along if you want to see more videos like this. Let me know in the comments down below what you want to see. One of the most popular videos on my channel is how to make a brisket, so I figured I'd do another cooking style video because you guys apparently enjoy it. So have this going on, and hope you guys like it so far. You know, I'm not a professional chef. I'm a home cook though, and I cook every day of my life. I cook every meal in this household, and I have a ton of people to cook for. So in my opinion, I'm good at it. It doesn't have to look fancy. You know, I did a little bit sloppy knife work there, cutting it up and, you know, just throwing stuff together just to show it doesn't have to be fancy. It has to be good. And you just need to follow the common sense, how to do this in order and make it turn out good. You know, so it doesn't have to be perfect and it'll come out for you. the liquids, the measurements, none of that has to be perfect. In fact, most recipes online, they're terrible. So you eyeball stuff. What is it that you want? We want more carrots, throw more carrots in. Hey, I like a little bit more garlic, throw more garlic in. Make it your own. I just gave you what's in it, and the measurements and all that stuff, although I gave them to you, you should experiment. Make it more than one time. Make it how I said one time, and change one little thing the next time. Make it your own. That's what makes you a good cook. And that experience will compound over time. You'll get awesome. But yeah, so I'm waiting around. I'm gonna throw mine on high for probably 2 hours at least, and then throw it on low for the rest of the day. And kids are being goofy, but I'm gonna throw it on low for the rest of the day, and that'll be golden. Yay! Time to clean up my mess. It's been on high for about 3 hours. Turning it down to low. And just to take a peek, all the liquid's building up. It is looking wonderful. Another several hours have passed with it being on low, and now we're checking to see if the meat's tender yet. So what you want to do is just grab a fork and see if you can shred it. This is easily shreddable by a fork, so it's looking really good. Give your vegetables a stir, shred your meat up, and then add it back in for as long as you can until dinner's ready. Look at that, it just falls right apart. I'm taking my shredded meat, putting it back in, and the meat will continue to break down and get even softer the longer it gets to cook. Put that in. Let's get out my other big chunk of meat here, because I have two. Hot, hot, hot. There's my other piece of meat. Shred this while we're at it. And be sure we give this a stir. Make sure our veggies aren't burning on the walls or anything like that. Get it all in there. Wonderful. Don't be afraid to use your hands to pull this apart either. Sometimes hands just work better. Hot though. And also don't be afraid to have a snack. That's pretty good. The meat's added back in. We'll just give it a quick stir. And like I said, the longer you wait, the better it'll be. Don't forget to remove your bay leaves whenever you're done and about to serve. But this is done and ready to eat now, or the more patience you have, the better it'll get. I'll tell you one thing though, this smells amazing. One thing you want to check, maybe give it a taste test. See if your carrots and your potatoes are soft yet. As soon as those are soft, generally your meat is fall apart as well, and everything's ready to eat. The big fatty sections, those are for me. And this here is the final product. Beautiful. Dig in and enjoy. If you guys enjoyed this one, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Let me know in the comments down below if you made this and how did it turn out for you. Or let me know what to be making next. This is BearStone Adventures, and I'll see you on the next one. Later, guys. See ya!